Have you ever just stopped and thought, what is happening to Canada's major projects? Think Trans Mountain, Site C, Ring of Fire, years late, billions over budget. And every time I hear the same two villains, environmental review and Indigenous consultation, well, that story is misleading, and I want to tell you why it's costing Canada billions. I'm Brady, and I've worked on the policy side, the regulator side, and as an industry strategist on major projects. And from 3 different chairs, I've seen the same projects fail for the same reasons. This is the start of a series on why Canadian projects are stuck and what has to change. Today, the misconception, the 4 real root causes, and the shape of what we can do about it. This video is an intro, so I'll dig deeper into each topic in follow-up videos. Before I dig into what's broken, the current system does deserve some credit. The current review and consultation process was designed to solve real problems. Projects used to get approved with very little environmental scrutiny and little to no engagement with the First Nations whose land they crossed. The courts ruled again and again that Canada was breaking its own laws. The question now is the system still designed for Canada's current ambitions? I would argue that it isn't. But the reform conversation only works if we recognize what the system was right to attempt in the first place. You go to an industry conference these days, and the conventional wisdom is regulatory reviews take too long, Indigenous consultation acts like it's a de facto veto, sideline both, and projects will move. And it's appealing because it's partly true. Reviews are slow. Consultation is confrontational. But when you read the postmortems of projects like Site C, Trans Mountain, the same findings keep showing up. These frictions that we see are symptoms, not causes. They're expressions of much earlier failures. And if we just focus on this obvious part of the problem, we won't fix the system. We'll just be massaging the bottleneck. We shouldn't be focusing on what a project's regulatory review time is. Instead, we should be focusing on what the project's total cycle time is, that period from planning all the way to commissioning. If we look at projects this way, 4 real root causes start to emerge. Number 1, regulatory fragmentation. A major project doesn't move through one single review. It moves through dozens, federal, provincial, municipal, sector-specific, the list goes on. The new Building Canada Act introduced a 2-year federal clock that consolidates federal decisions that used to run separately. But even this is an admission that the problem was never just one long clock. It was hundreds of different clocks running on different schedules. And this act doesn't touch provincial reviews. Provinces are trying. Ontario's One Project, One Window, BC's EAO modernization, these are general attempts at integration. But a truly multi-jurisdictional review is still the exception. Number 2, and this is the one that a lot of people miss. The Crown is outsourcing its constitutional obligation to consult to the private sector. The duty to consult comes from the Supreme Court. Think of the Haida decision, the Chilcotin decision. It's the Crown's duty to consult, not the proponents. But for 2 decades, the Crown has delegated this responsibility to proponents, then asked for their homework and decided if it was good enough. Proponents don't have the legal authority to answer the questions that actually matter. The title overlaps, who speaks for unceded territory, cumulative impacts in a region, those require a Crown decision maker. And when the Crown delegates them, they don't get answered. They just simmer underneath a project until they explode as litigation. Number 3 is our workforce, but probably not the way that you've heard it. Industry has been warning about a project labor shortage for over a decade. And in that time, the feds have spent billions of dollars on training. But the problem is worse now than when the warning started. That's not a coincidence. Canada doesn't have a workforce problem. It has a volatility problem that shows up as a workforce problem. Apprenticeships take 4 years, engineering pipelines take 6, specialized expertise can take 10. All the while, the projects that these people are training for are getting announced, delayed, canceled, restarted. There's a mismatch between our training programs and our project pipelines. All at the same time, 2 specific pressures are arriving. 270,000 construction retirements by 2034. And the federal agencies who are supposed to be reviewing your projects are currently being slashed. The math ain't mathin'. Finally, number 4, financing and construction readiness. A formal approval doesn't mean that a project is construction ready. Large mines, terminals, transmission corridors, they routinely face cost escalation after they've received approval. Commodity cycles shift, capital structures get rebuilt. The project that was financeable at approval often isn't financeable at the final investment decision 12 months later. The federal financing toolkit is improving. The Canada Infrastructure Bank, the Canada Growth Fund, the Indigenous Loan Guarantee Program, these are serious contributions. But most proponent financing structures still assume that the policy risk ends at the permit. Well, it doesn't. Before I go into recommendations, I want to quickly name something that is working. Because the easy version of this video is that everything is broken, and that's not true and it's not useful. Cedar LNG in British Columbia. The Haisla Nation was an equity partner from the very beginning of this project, and the provincial government worked hand in hand with the Haisla and the federal government. Financed, approved, working. I'll go more into this example in another video. Here are 4 reforms that we can focus on right now, and don't worry, I will dig deeper into each one in a future video. First, regulatory fragmentation needs provincial-federal coordination at a level that Canada hasn't built yet. It's called the spine model. Second, consultation requires the Crown to take back the part of the job that only the Crown can do. Third, our workforce planning needs to be tied to demand signals that are actually stable. And fourth, our financing needs better due diligence and early project capacity support. Every one of these does create losers, but I'll go into those battles in the deeper pieces. Here's why this matters if you're running a project today. If you accept that conventional diagnosis, you'll be spending all of your political capital on the wrong battles. You'll under-index regulatory time. You'll underinvest in early engagement and post-project financing. You'll be surprised by problems that were entirely predictable. The proponents who consistently move their projects through aren't the ones with the best lawyers. They're the ones who best understand the system. If any of this is hitting home on a project that you're working on, I'd be curious what you're seeing on the ground. Please reach out or you can leave a comment below. To everybody else, thank you for watching.